Well, hello and welcome to Talk Time. And this week we are focusing attention on the health sector. We'll be talking mainly about nursing and its significance for the health sector. We'll be talking about the engagement of nurses. I mean, whether or not we have adequate numbers, and if we don't have adequate numbers, what are we doing to enable those who have been trained as nurses to practice their profession? Welcome to Talk Time.
I'm home. I'm coming to me. Oh, into that come honey, sir. Dang.
Castle. So when you mean this will be a bit of the Hanuma, can one carry an asset? A day, pay your answer, young man must say.
Oh, what happened? Try me, maybe. What for cocoa bit? When it's blue, and answer, some legend. Young Casabe may say, what for cocoa capsules? A day and number 2, and number 2, and your friend say, come 2, driving what ten a jum was sitting to me near you. When my draw will be a was sitting but down, Amadeus or the what the
a drawing and ya ma a pin for, one warmer and manu for, and name more fra when you fear do me.
Hello, welcome back to Talk Time. And as I indicated from the very beginning, we'll be talking about health, precisely nursing. And we are privileged to have with us Mr. Frederick Awusi, who is president of Graduate Nurses, I believe Unemployed Graduate Nurses Association. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, what are the issues? What are the issues that we are confronted with? Because we are hearing that you are very agitated. What are the issues?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity given. As you mentioned, the name is Frederick Awusi, and I am the president for private university graduate nurses who have completed various private universities in Ghana. And as I can speak, or my memory sets me right, the last clearance that was given to the private university graduate was in the year 2014.
What is clearance, by the way?
Clearance is given by the Ministry of Finance through the Ministry of Health when those who have completed their mandatory 1-year national service, their names are being forwarded to Ministry of Finance for them to be given the opportunity to work in the government hospitals. And so before you can work, your name has to go to Controller and Accountant General's Department and to the Ministry of Finance clearance. Your name will be forwarded to them for you to be processed to get your monthly salary.
That is a statement from the Ministry of Finance saying that if you are employed, you can be paid.
Yes.
That's what clearance is.
Yes.
Okay, clear.
If I can go back and explain why this agitation. Now we have the nurse assistant preventive, the nurse assistant clinicals from both public and private institutions in Ghana. And these private institutions and public institutions had been given an accreditation by the National Accreditation Board. And so long as you have been issued that, given that green light to operate in Ghana, means the government is behind you. We have also the diploma level. They train the diploma nurses. The NAC is 2 years, the diploma is 3 years, the degree nurses is 4 years. And so you can see from the hierarchy. The NAC and NAP from the private sector were being absorbed gradually by the government.
What is NAC and NAP?
The nurse assistant preventive and nurse assistant clinical. They are being absorbed by the government day in, day out as they complete. But it got to a time this group of nurses were not given their attention. But when it comes to the degree nurses, when you go to a private or a public university, the government doesn't give you allowance. You are not bonded, and so the government doesn't have that kind of obligation to restrict you from working outside Ghana or any other institution apart from government-owned hospitals. And so what happened was, day in, day out, as you graduate from the school and you are done with your mandatory national service, what government does is, government will send a list from the Necessary Military Council who is a body that regulates all nursing institutions in Ghana, will send the list to the Ministry of Health, and then Ministry of Health will forward it to Ministry of Finance for the clearance I said earlier. So 2014, I'm talking about the degree nurses. To 2014, this group of people were issued a clearance. Those who have completed school in 2014 and are due for clearance were issued financial clearance in 2016 December. Not that government is not recruiting private nurses. Government was doing it, but it has ended abruptly since this regime, and this is what we don't understand. Because if 2016 government employ both public and private degree nurses of a number of 732, we are not many. We are not that huge number. We are few. We are not allowed to admit a lot of nurses, and so we have been given a quota. And so the quota that has been given by the Ministry of Health is the one that are given chance to enter into various universities. And so 2016, this group of people were issued the clearance, and they were given chance to be posted into public hospitals. So those who were done schooling in 2015, 2016, 2017 from the private sector had been denied the opportunity to be recruited by government hospitals. And this is what we don't understand. Recently, this group of people, we lodged complaint, we dialogue with the ministry, and the minister himself, Honorable Kwesi Pratt, agreed that, okay, what I can do is, there are backlogs of which we want to clear. So what we are going to do is, let your people undergo what we call verification, so that we know the number of people who are still at home, so we can clear them. People were from Northern Region, Kumasi, all over Ghana, came to Accra to undergo this 1 week verification. We did it successfully, and out of the verification, a number of 5,280 was received, and these are the people that were due for clearance. And a lot of assurances came from the minister himself that he will do his possible best to ensure that this number has been cleared by the finance ministry. And as I talked to you, we are in our 1st year since this verification was done. We are not envious of our colleagues in the public sector. Neither are we saying they should be denied the chance to be recruited in government hospitals. Yes, they also deserve to be recruited. But our issue is, we have been cheated upon. We've been discriminated not once, not twice, not thrice, several occasions. Because if my memory serves me right, 2017 they recruited graduate nurses from the universities at the public sector, leaving those from the private sector, of which it was quite strange, because they recruit both public and private degree nurses on the same scale. So this time, where from this discrimination that they have taken out the public and left the private hanging. And when we went to find out from them, excuse me, they said it was a mistake, and so they are going to rectify it. We sat with the Deputy Minister, Honorable Tina Mensah, and she confirmed that it was a mistake, and they are going to work on it, and our clearance will be given ASAP. Our colleagues from the diploma and the NAC and NAP at the private sector were equally given the opportunity to do the verification. They picketed at the Ministry of Health for a good 3 days. The then youth organizer, Honorable Samuel Oku, came there.
He's not a member of parliament.
Sorry. Let me see. Samuel Oku came there and gave them words of assurance that they are going to make sure that their clearance has been given. The then Minister of Information, Honorable Hamid, came there and granted an interview, a press release that government is poised to recruit over 20,000 health workers, over 32,000 health workers. Sorry. And these 32,000 health workers, those who are picketing are priority. And so if the information minister will come out and say this, and the minister would confirm it, that come and do verification, and at the end of verification, 1 good year, nothing has been said to us. All that they will tell you, your verified list is at the Ministry of Finance. We started the verification before the NAC and NAP that have been given clearance even started approaching the minister. We started the verification before even those that has been issued clearance, the 2016 bonded nurses, they were not even done with their national service. They completed their national service in 2018, but they have been given clearance. And the recent State of Nation address by the president stated clearly that they are going to make sure clearance has been issued to the 2017-2018 batch of nurses that are from the public sector, of which nothing it's done about those from the private sector. There is no private nurse in Ghana. So long as we have been issued accreditation by the National Accreditation Board, which is a state-owned agency, so long as the Nurses and Midwifery Council has given us the ultimatum to be trained as a nurse, there's no private nurse. We are equal. And if we can do some comparison here, recently the Minister of Education, the Honorable Napo, went to Parliament and was questioned that what is he doing about the private trained teachers. And now they are writing the council exams. The teachers are now also writing the professional exams. Last year. And we have started long ago. Before you become a professional nurse, if you don't write the NMC, the Nurses and Midwifery Council exams, you can't. Before you become a professional nurse, unless you are done with 1 year mandatory rotation or national service, you aren't a professional nurse, because we have what we call professional identification number, which is be issued to you at the end of your national service, or auxiliary identification number, which will be issued to you when you pass your the NMC.
How are you sure that all of this is discrimination against privately trained nurses? What makes you think so?
We felt discriminated upon because I'm surprised it is happening now. For the degree nurses, they clear both public and private. I have evidence.
Isn't it just possible that there is no money to pay you if you engage?
But if it is not possible, why have you given clearance to those who are in the public? We are not many. The degree side from 2015 to 2017, we are not even more than 1,200. My group, we are only 471. You've been able to clear over 14,000 for a batch. 2016 Nakana, 14,000. You've been able to clear over 5,000 for only 2016 batch. And our batch is, from the degree side, our batch is 2015, 2016, and 2017. We are not even up to 500.
Are there vacancies for you in the public sector?
Oh, sir, there are lots of vacancies. Now, when you check the patient-nurse ratio, if it will reduce, the recent one that we had was 22 to 1, a ratio of one nurse to 22 patients. We don't have the nurses. They are extending their contract. You will see a nurse who's supposed to go on pension, but because they are not there, they are extending contracts. You go to a ward that's supposed to have over maybe 10 nurses at a shift. You are having 3 nurses at a shift, taking care of a number of nurses, clients, of which we think our health system is going down the drain. We are just pleading with the government that the promises that they gave us, that when they come, they are going to make sure the national cake is shared among equally. Equity should come to bear. That you tell us that you don't have any obligation. What obligation do you have with the other side? We are also Ghanaians, and we are saying that we also deserve to be treated fairly. We all are aware that people travel outside to school. They did school in Ghana. They never had accreditation from National Accreditation Board. They go, they come back, and they are giving government work to do. We are rather Ghanaians schooling in Ghanaian school. Yet when we are done, they will tell you that you saw public school and you entered into private school. A private school that is being established by a Ghanaian. and you tell me that I enter into a private school and so we don't have any obligation with you. We are not going to give you any employment. We have had series of dialogue with the ministry. We have gone far. A lot of tax has been given us to do, yet nothing is coming out of it. And we are feeling that the government of the day or the minister of the day is not telling us what he's supposed to do, because he gave us his words that I am going to make sure you are recruited to the public hospitals. There are a lot of hospitals that are vacant that we can also render our services. We know the work. Even now that we are not working in the public institutions, we are doing small locums so that our experiences wouldn't die. We can't just sit there and look and be aloof that the training, the practical that we've achieved from the schools will just go wasted. We are practicing it, and it's very difficult for your parent to see you still at home at completing school 2015, 2016, 17, 18, 19, and you are still at home. They see you and they are annoyed. You have wasted money on you. And so we are pleading with the government, we are pleading with the media that those who matters should speak with the government that we have suffered far long. We need the government to help us. If indeed he is father of all, he should try as much as possible to give us what due us. We are equally Ghanaians. We vote, we exercise our franchise, and we have our responsibilities. It matters to them as well. If we become a good citizen, it's to the better of the nation. If we become bad nation, the bad name will be given to Ghana that the government of the day didn't try for the private sector. We are trying that we also contribute our quota to the building of Mother Ghana. But why the thing is moving towards, we feel cheated. That is why we have run to this platform.
Okay. Well, viewers, we're talking to Mr. Frederick Awusi, who is the president of the Graduate Nurses Association. In fact, those who privately trained Graduate Nurses Association, who allegedly have been denied employment over a number of years. And we're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to find out from Mr. Awusi whether or not they've managed to unite their front. Short break.
The Bridge Kiddie tab is your best gadget option for the kids. It is a real tablet with a lot of educational and entertaining apps. It is very strong and durable. Bridge Kiddie tab, the best learning companion for every child.
Well, hello, welcome back to Talk Time, and we are talking about the plight of nurses, unemployed nurses who have been trained at the tertiary level and at the secondary level and so on, who are unable to gain employment. Now, sir, what is your front like? Because I hear graduates, non-graduates, and so on. Are you united? Are you working in a single structure?
Yes, I may say so, because all those who are not employed, are due for employment, are not given. We can put them under one umbrella as unemployed graduates. But in our case, the MVTI who equally wears the green and the white when we go to some facilities. And so it's like the whole nation cannot fathom the differences between who is a graduate and the difference between who is not professional. As I said earlier on, if you write the professional exams and you are given the professional identification number, you become a professional nurse. There are some who just go for 2 years, yet they don't write the professional exams. And you see them in uniforms, and so people will say, private nurses are like they, private nurses are like. We have a unique people, a unique graduates there who are also professional.
Is this division necessary? All of you are being denied employment. Doesn't matter who's a graduate of a university and who's not a graduate of a university.
Yeah, I was clearing it. The university ones, we never had a private because the government, in a nutshell, said, you don't take allowance, you don't sign a bond, and so you are not bonded to say, if I don't give you employment automatically, you are going to send me to court. We were all under one umbrella. The graduate nurses we were all under one umbrella. We are front united. We were doing it together until 2017. The ministry gave clearance to the public university, the 4 public universities, leaving behind the 12 private universities in Ghana. And so this is where we went to ask them that why the disparity this time. And they said it was a mistake because we were collating lists.
I'm saying that you are fighting for employment for nurses who have been trained, who cannot get employment now. Why do you have to make distinction between those who are trained in the university, those who are not trained in the university, and so on? All of you have one common problem. Why the need for the distinction?
When it came to the situations, like this group came up that, okay, we are maybe coalition of unemployed nurses. This group came out, we are registered graduate nurses of Ghana, like that. The degree nurses were doing their own association. The diploma nurses, they were forming their own. It's a coalition. It's not an association. It's a coalition. We formed their own coalition. Until now, we saw that we form coalition. We go there, and the ministry is using our own coalition to hit our heads together. So why don't we now come under one umbrella? Because we are fighting the same cause. That the ministry should see to it that those who are due for employment should be given the nod to be employed. That is why we were given time to do the verification. And the verification was done for the NAC and NAP, the diploma, and the degree. We all did the same thing together. And the number that was gotten out of that verification was the 5,280. 5,280. But when you go into that number, they have this group of nurses, the NAC and NAP, because they take different salary, and because their clearance is different from the diploma, they are grouped under one. The diploma nurses also take different salary, and their way of recruitment is also grouped under one. The degree nurses also take different salary, and so their way of engagement is also grouped under one. When you go to the ministry, that's how it's done. They can't mix NAC and NAP and the degree nurses together. They will definitely clear this group of people. They do it like batch in batch. The NAC and NAP will go, the diploma will go, the degree nurses will go.
Mr. Awusi, what is the extent of unity amongst unemployed nurses?
We all meet. We even join the public institutions. We joined an alliance. We met the vice president on this same issue. We are together until you see that they have cleared this group and this group is not cleared. I can mention the former JIMTA president, Santi. We are together. We went to the ministry together. We go to meet the HR director together. We are together in all our dealings, and they know what is going on. But to come to think of it, you realize that some category of nurses has been cleared, and we don't know the way they maneuver to clear them. You ask them, they will tell you that this bunch of clearance has come. Yours is not part. And this is what we don't understand. If they are doing it, they should do it equally.
So you've been waging this battle for 4 years.
Yes, please.
You haven't achieved much success.
Yes, please.
What do you intend to do?
Yesterday, our colleague from the Coalition for Unemployed Nurses staged a press conference at Mr. Big's restaurant, and they gave the government 10 working day ultimatum to make sure the clearance is given, or as they are advising themselves. And I had a lot of calls from my group that this is what we are seeing. The deputy minister spoke that yes, she said they are going to do verification, they are going to give them employment, yet it doesn't yield any fruit now. What they don't owe them any obligation to post them. This is what the deputy minister said. They don't owe them any obligation to post them. Even those that are in the public sector, they are not done. But come to think of it, they have been able to clear those who completed 2016, completed their national service in 2018, just last year. They've been able to clear them. How much was somebody who has completed school from 2012 and still from 2012 and still home? And you are telling me that you are clearing backlog, and the backlog that is supposed to clear from 2012, you are now starting from front backwards. We don't understand. And so they made it clear that within these 10 working days, if nothing is done about it, they are going to demonstrate against the government that they have discriminated against them. Because when they were doing their campaign, they used these promises that they are coming to create employment. They are coming so that those who have been denied opportunity to be recruited into the public sector will be given that the hope. They gave us the hope, and so we also, based on those hopes, we voted for. And if you come to power and this time you tell us that you don't owe us any obligation, it's like you've tied our hands behind us and telling us new things. We don't understand. We were trying to ask them, they should rather give us interpretation where they are saying you don't owe us any obligation, or that they will tell you that those schools were sponsored by Ministry of Health. Is the private school not under Ministry of Health? Is the private school standing on its own? That is what we don't understand. If they know the private school standing on its own, then they should revoke the accreditation. They should tell the Nurses and Midwifery Council to also disallow them from writing the professional exams, because the same public school gets accreditation from National Accreditation Board. The same public school is being given the opportunity by Nurses and Midwifery Council to sit for the exams, the professional exams. Same goes to the private sector. So virtually the private school is also manned by the Ministry of, is being superseded by the Ministry of Health. The agency see to it that the private school is living up to expectation. If you are not seeing to the private school, why then do you give them quota? That private school so and so don't take this number of students. It means that their affairs are being run by the Ministry of Health indirectly, because you are giving them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. You are there telling me not to do this, and then when I come, you tell me that I don't owe you anything to give you.
Okay, so viewers, we're talking about the unemployed nurses and the struggles they have been going through for about over 4 years. And we're talking to the president of the University Graduate Nurses Association, Unemployed. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll explore other avenues, in this struggle. For example, if they demonstrate and nothing happens, what will they do again? Short break.
African Center for Capacity Building, AFCAP, organizes the following executive and advanced certificate programs like Executive Certificate in Project Management, Executive Certificate in Human Resource Management, Executive Certificate in Real Estate and Property Management, Executive Certificate in Data and Record Keeping, Executive Certificate in Monitoring and Evaluation, Executive Certificate in Logistics and Transport Management, Executive Certificate in CCTV Monitoring and Installation. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority. For registration and enquiries, please call 0244 405047, 0242 135523. We have our branches in Accra, Tamale, Kumasi, and Wa. Saturdays and weekdays sessions are available. Admission is still in progress. Enroll now. Join the African professionals. AFCAP, where capacity building is our priority.
Well, hello, welcome back to Talk Time. We're talking about the problems of unemployed nurses who have been trained in some of the private universities, in some of the private institutions and so on. Some of them have been sitting at home for 4 years without employment. Now, boss, I heard some of your people this morning talk about a demonstration. Is a demonstration for all the different groups or for only one of the groups?
As I said, the Coalition for Unemployed did their press conference yesterday, and they came out that they are going to demonstrate.
Does it include you?
We never had a press conference.
So you are not part of the group which is calling for demonstration?
Yes, the group, the degree nurses did not call for the press conference. But so long as we are for the same agenda, we are behind it. We are behind it. Because whether or not a degree nurse was present, whether or not a diploma nurse was present, we are all privately trained, qualified nurses who is seeking the same agenda. And so we don't even want to demonstrate. All that we want is the government of the day should fulfill its promises. Why will you tell us to come and do verification and then you tell us you don't have any obligation with us? We don't understand, and we need them to give us an interpretation to what they said. To let me come to want to collate, want to do your sample. So you give me a questionnaire to fill, and then you throw the questionnaire somewhere. You don't want to do analysis of your questionnaire. How can you then discuss your analysis? So we want the government of the day to tell us that yes, this is where we've gotten to. That is why our colleagues gave the government a 10-day ultimatum that the government should turn things around and make sure that what they said have materialized. Because if you tell me I come and do verification at the end of the verification we don't see anything, definitely we would say it clearly that the government have lied to us. It's deceiving us. We don't.
But your colleagues also decided to call the demonstration Kumi Preko. Why?
The Kumi Preko, they came with the title Kumi Preko. I beg to differ, but I'm sure they have really thought about it.
Why do you differ?
Because the Kumi Preko, the stance they are saying Kumi Preko, sorry to say, I also heard it Kumi Preko demonstration, of which I can say they want to do it. How do I say it? I don't know how to put it, but it's like you are killing me. Just kill me. Just destroy me. I shouldn't exist anymore. If that is what you want, just let me die and go. We are fed up. That is why I think the title came from Kumi Preko, and maybe they are trying to emulate a leader who brought the Kumi Preko. Because
who is that leader?
As we are, I'm coming. As we are also reading newspapers, we heard from the newspapers the Kumi Preko demonstration that happened some years back. Maybe they are trying to copy the title of that demonstration. So if a leader has embarked on said demonstration, who's a human rights activist, has embarked on said demonstration and it yielded results, they also want to emulate search Kumipreku and see the outcome of it. But we are all praying that the government of the day, within the 10 working days given, something better comes out of it. We don't want to embark on demonstration to be disrupting attention, to be wasting our times, a time that need to be done, a time that need to be used to do a profitable thing. We'll be using the same time on the streets, under scorching sun, demonstrating, disrupting peace. We want the government to be so gentle to us that, look, I gave you my words and this is what I have done. They should come forward and tell us something. They should come forward and let us see an evidence that this list that we collated has been forwarded to the Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance to come out to tell us that your clearance will be given within this stipulated time.
So after the demonstration, if government does not yield, what options would you have? After the demonstration, you are still sitting at home.
The government, maybe we will seek further clarification from the courts, because if the education minister is giving those who were trained in the private institution, giving them the same chance, what is the difference between the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health? Then there's a total discrimination. You go to say, they will tell you the IMF bailout is not there. IMF bailout. Now the IMF bailout, we are hearing that it's gone. So they will give us chance, they will give us the opportunity to be recruited. If that is so, why the time wasting this time? After the demonstration, the government seemed not to say anything about it. We are also citizens. That's why we want them to tell us why they are not recruiting the graduate from the other side. Why are they not recruiting? Because they may know better. The law brought this kind of program. Every program that has been set by the Ministry of Health, every program that has been set by any institution, there is a policy document to that program. And so they should read out the policy document that, okay, you people, you were brought into the system to be just trained and go and seek for your own job. Then we will understand that we will tell our juniors who are also starting that, don't even bother yourself, go to private institution. Let's close all private universities, all private entities that who are offering nursing or midwifery or psychiatry or public health, that the government doesn't have anything for you. So you go to your own either advantage or disadvantage.
Well, thank you very, very much. Thank you for coming. We've been talking to Mr. Frederick Awusi, who is president of the nurses who have graduated from the universities and who are engaged in a struggle for employment. They want to be employed into the public sector. Well, this is the point where we say goodbye to you, but before we do that, I'd like to say that we would like you to keep your dial on Pan-African Television. Pan-African Television brings you the best in everything: sports, news, current affairs, everything. And please keep your dial here so we can learn together. It's goodbye from all of us, especially from our producer-director, Adam Lumo. Goodbye from the cameraman, goodbye from makeup artists, goodbye from everybody until we see you again next week. Bye-bye.